Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Grade Up Classroom. Welcome to this series of DI Basics. In this series, we are going to do some basic questions on data interpretation. And as we know that data interpretation is something which requires consistent practice. And in the beginning, let's start with some basics. Like yesterday, we had a session on tables. Today, let us do some basic questions on bar graphs, right? So at this stage, we need to do basics, and as time progresses, we can go on to difficult things as well. Okay. So we are going to do basics of DI. Will do very basics bar graphs today. I will do a couple of sets and very basic questions to get an understanding. Since most of you are maybe first time preparers, okay, so you will get an idea that what is bar graph exactly and how do we solve questions on that. Okay. So if you're preparing for CAT 2021, if you're just starting your preparation, so we have got a CAT 2021 full course. The enrollments have begun, and this course consists of more than 300 live classes. So the entire thing would be through live classes, and it includes 80 plus mock tests and mocks and sectional tests. We'll also give PDFs for revision and practice questions. That also includes GD/VAT and PI preparation. And towards the end, we shall have revision workshops before the exam so that you are fully prepared for the exam. And in order to enroll in this course, you need to just get Grade Up Super subscription. Okay, and with this, with Super subscription, you can get access to all the courses. Okay. Snap, we already discussed the answers in the afternoon, right? So in the first session itself, 1:15, where we had that exam analysis. So watch that towards the end. You will get the answers to the questions. Okay, the questions were discussed then and there itself. So we thought that that was enough to discuss it. So we did not find a utility in taking a separate session. Okay, so we've discussed the questions there itself, whichever were memory based questions. Okay, so watch that analysis video. You'll get the answers to the questions. Okay. All right. So before I begin, just to give you some motivation, or rather, some aim to crack CAT in 2021. Okay. This is my CAT 2020 scorecard. Okay, and you must have seen that I was training you for DILR and all those. So I secured 99.94 in CAT. Okay, with 99.99 in DILR and 99.87 in quant section. Okay, so this should motivate you to do good in CAT 2021. Try to achieve such high scores so that you get into your dream colleges. Okay. All right. So let's begin today's session. Let's begin with the first set of the day. Okay. That is going to be a basic set. As I said, it is not very difficult thing to do. Okay. So it says that this is a bar graph. It shows that it compares India's performance with other lower middle income countries on various policy and institutional indicators. You have to read this data and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so there are different parameters. There are 6 parameters given: education, employment, asset building, financial intermediation, policy and institutional, financial intermediation, corruption slash rent, basic services, fiscal transfers, and there are 6 countries given to you. Okay, and what we have questions on these. Okay, so this is the first question. Which country's score is the poorest in each indicator in this order? Okay, so you have the same order that is given here: education, employment. It is in the same order it is mentioned: asset building, okay, financial intermediation, corruption, basic services, fiscal transfer. So in the same order, you have to name the countries that have the poorest score in these indicators. Okay, so this is a very basic question, and this is just an observation based set where you do not have to calculate anything. Just observe the graph and answer the question. So, which are the poorest countries in these indicators? So, which country has the poorest indicator of all these? So, this is a very basic, I would say, question on bar graphs, that is just observation based, right? This is simple observation based question. Okay, so for snap analysis, I mean snap questions, you just visit that analysis thing, and the questions were discussed then and there itself. Those were the only questions that we had to discuss, right? There were no new such questions, so those were discussed then itself, right? So this one is a very simple question, and so you have to tell which country scores poorest in each indicator. So I mean, this was there was a time when CAT DILR was that used to be easy one, and they did not have these difficult questions. Okay, so that time they used to ask like observation based questions, right? So you can directly observe this. Like if you look at the options, how do we solve such questions? Is using the options. Okay, so if you look at the options, okay, and if you see these indicators, you can easily mark using options. Now, first is Laos in all the cases, right? So you do not have to check for education. Second is Indonesia, India in three cases, Indonesia in one case. Okay. All right. So let us check that if it is Indonesia or India. So this is the lowest country, which is India. So option A can be ruled out. Then third is India or Vietnam. Okay. So asset building, if we see the lowest is again India. So option C is ruled out. Okay. Now, in fourth, you have Vietnam in both the options. So you need not look into the graph. Fifth is Thailand. So you need not look into the graph. Sixth thing is Laos versus Philippines. Seventh is India. So you do not look for all these things. You need to just check this one to get the answer. So in basic services, you have this country, the third country, that is Laos, which is the least, right? So Laos is the least. Hence your answer would be option B. Okay, so the answer is option B. You can rule out the other options. So these are observation based questions. Okay, you can just observe the graph and answer the questions, right? You need not, I mean, you do not have to calculate any values. You just have to observe and answer the questions. Okay, so this is basic graph reading skills, how you can read graphs and answer that. Okay. Next question is, which policy and institutional indicators have the lowest and highest average scores? Which of them have the lowest and the highest average scores? So highest and lowest average scores, it means that you have to find average of all these scores. Again, you just observe the graph and answer the questions by using options, right? What people generally do is they would find average of all these six, right? That is not even needed. Okay, you do not need to find average. If you just closely look at the graph, who do you think, which do you think would be the highest average? Probably one of these two, or educational, employment, or basic services. You would say that one of these three, or maybe even corruption. So it is lowest and highest, right? So highest should be education, finance, fiscal transfer, basics, and employment. So if you look at this, fiscal transfers is never the highest, right? It is a low value. So you can eliminate option B. Okay. Now, education, basic services, and employment. All these three look high. Okay. So we have to find the lowest also. So lowest corruption rate, fiscal transfers, or financial intermediation. Financial intermediation. So this is for the lowest, financial intermediation, fiscal transfers, and the third is corruption rent. So corruption rent is definitely not the lowest, right? If you see, these values are quite high, so this cannot be the lowest. So option A gets ruled out. Then you have fiscal transfers, basic services, lowest and highest, fiscal transfers, basic services, and the second one is financial intermediation versus employment. Okay, which do you think would be the higher value among? Okay, so let us stick which is the highest, basic or employment. If you look at the graph of basics, this value is high, this value is high, this value is slightly low. These three are higher than employment. So basic is definitely greater than employment. By just observing the graph, we can say that, right? You can just observe the graph and say that basic is higher than employment. Okay. Okay, you say education is the highest. Okay, so if you say education is the highest, okay, let us take this point, education is the highest. So this value is slightly high, like let's say this is a difference of 1, okay, which is 1 higher, and this value is almost equal, 1 higher, okay, 1.5 higher. This value is lower than this, right? This is 2 lower. Okay, then this value is lower than this graph. These two are almost equal, slightly higher, and this one is also low. Okay, so net okay, net you can say that basic will be higher than education. You can count the values and add those. You will get a slight difference between basic and education. Okay, but if you look at the options also, right? So if you take education, then corruption is definitely not the lowest, right? Corruption is definitely not the lowest. Corruption has high values as compared to this. So you will get the answer as option C. Okay, so generally what happens is people would calculate these values, right? People would start looking at the graph and start calculating the values. So what will happen is it will consume time to solve the question, whereas you just have to observe and answer. Okay, so you are given pairs of values, you can answer using that. Or if you want to clear the confusion, let us say this is here, okay, and you have this is -2, 2 values, 2 pointers less, and if you see this one will come somewhere here, so this is 1.5 more, okay, and this one is somewhere here, 1 2 3 values less, right? So net it is -7 -4, so -3 total. In total it is -3. It is obviously less than this graph. Okay, all right, so basic services is the highest. So if you observe closely, you will get the answer, basic services. Okay, what is the highest percentage score in the employment indicator? The scores were awarded on a scale of 7. This one is a simple one. highest percentage score in the employment indicator. Scores were awarded on a scale of 7. So this is a very easy one. You just have to find the percentage, right? So how will you do that? Employment indicator, which is employment, this, find the highest value and divide by 7 and get the percentage. Okay, so this is what? This is 5. This is 4 point, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 0.2 is your gap. So 5, this will be 4.8, this will be 4.7. Okay, so this is how we read graphs. Okay, 4.7, right? So 4.7 out of 7 and as 100. So 470 by 7, that would be 6, and then you get 50, 67.14%. Answer should be option B. Okay, this would be option B, 67.14. Right? 67.14%. Okay. All right, let's do the next question. Identify the country and the indicator with the lowest percentage score and the country and the indicator with the highest percentage score across all policy and institution indicators. Okay, so you have to tell the country and the lowest as well as the country with the highest. Okay, the country and the lowest indicator and the country and the highest indicator. You just have to observe the value and answer this. So again, you can see the lowest value. Lowest value is which one? I think this one. If you look at this graph, no value lower than this one, right? This is the least value. So fiscal transfer and the country is India, right? So lowest is fiscal transfers India and highest education Thailand. Okay, education and Thailand is the black one. So this one is the highest. Yes, this is the highest. This is the highest. This is the lowest. Okay, clear? Okay, let's do the next question. What country has the maximum score difference between its highest and lowest scores across all indicators? Now, if a question is asked, like remember that whenever certain questions are asked, wherein you have to find difference between highest, right? You have to tell the maximum, right? So you just look at these four options. Okay, you just have to look at these four options. You do not have to look at, I mean, for all countries, right? You just find for these four countries. So Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, and Philippines. So Vietnam is the last one. Laos is the third one, the one with that light gray, and then Thailand is the black, and Philippines is with slanting lines. Okay, this is that light gray, dark black, and this is that dotted one at the end. So you have to find this. All right. So let's do this then. Okay, so we have maximum score difference. Let us check for Laos. Okay, Laos has its peak here, and the lowest is, you see the values, this must be the lowest. So what is the difference? This is 4.6 and this one is 2.9. Isn't it 2.9? Right? Right. So the difference for Laos is 1.7. Okay. Now, if we took about Vietnam, that is the last one. The highest value for Vietnam was in these two, or was it this? Yes, this is the highest, which is 4.7. Okay, and the least value for Vietnam was in this area, right? That is 2.8. So again, the difference is 1. In this case, the difference is 1.9. For Thailand, the highest is obviously this one, which is 5.2, right? And for Thailand, the lowest is, I think this was the lowest, or any value lower than this? This one is equal to this, right? Or this is lower than this? This is the least value. This is 4, 3.8, 3.6, 3.5. So 5.2 minus 3.5, again the difference is 1.7 in Thailand also. Okay. And what country remains? This Philippines, right? So now this is something, a time consuming question which requires good observation skills. Okay. Okay, so Philippines is and the slanting lines one, and the highest is this, right? So this is 4.4 is the highest, and the lowest value is Philippines is, I think, this one, right? There is no such value lower than this. So this is 3.2. So the difference is just 1.2. So obviously it is Vietnam which has the highest difference. Vietnam is the highest difference. Okay. So nowadays, the CAT generally does not ask these kind of questions. Observation based, now it has shifted its focus from these to logic based. But you should be prepared for anything, right? Maybe they just, I mean, people are hoping that someday they would come back to that easy section as well, right? Sometimes what happens is, like in some of the sections, they change the difficulty level, right? For some years, quant used to be very difficult, right? And then they again change it to easy. For some years, verbal used to be difficult. Then from 2014 to 15 to 18, verbal was easy. Then again in 19, they raised the level. So one should be prepared on all fronts. And this is the basics of data interpretation, wherein you understand graph reading, how to read graphs, how to observe graphs, etc. Okay, so this was this question. Okay, now this is another question. This is much simpler than that, although this requires some calculations. It involves some calculations. Let us solve this question also. It says that the number of travelers on 3 different routes of the Delhi metro, magenta, green and blue lines over a period of 6 months is given in the bar graph below. Okay, now one thing that you need to keep in mind is, I mean, you should read these legends properly. Sometimes the legends may not be in the same order they are given, right? So this blue one is magenta, the red one is green, and the green one is blue. Okay. The questions are quite simple. The first question is, for which of the following months is the percentage of rise or fall in the number of travelers from the previous month the maximum for the green route? Okay, and while reading graph, one thing to notice, like say these values are 50, 60, and if some value is given to the given here, that you should take as a central value, right? So that is 55. Okay, so just take like some central value. Okay, so if the legends are not given, try to take central value. So you will take these 55. So the question is, for which of the following months is the percentage of rise fall in the number of travelers? Okay, uh, uh, from the previous month of the maximum for the green route. So green route is the actually the blue one, right? I mean, sorry, the red one, the red wing. Okay. So you have to tell the highest percentage fall or rise. Okay. So percentage change. One thing you need to remember. One important thing for DI is percentage change is change in value upon initial value. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is you have to find for green route, and you have to, I mean, stick to only these four options. Okay. So for Feb, if you see, this is 55 to 60, right? In Feb, it became from 55, it went to 60. So increase was 5 and upon 55. Okay. Then the option, next option is Feb, March, April, May. So you have to check only these four options. Now in March, it was from 60 to 50. Okay. 60 to 50. So change was 10 out of 60. Then in April, it is 50 to 55. So change of 5 upon 50. Okay. Now if we talk about May, that is 55, that is 55 to again 50. Okay, so 5 upon 55. So obviously the highest change is in this month, right? The highest change is this, isn't it? So this is 10 by 60 is definitely the highest among these values. So this is in from Feb to March. Okay, so the previous you have to compare with respect to previous month. So the answer would be March. Okay. So Vikrant, that is asking that green line, right? Green route. So green route is this one. So don't get confused with the color and naming, right? So sometimes, I mean, these are some very basic mistakes people make it. They will think that this is green. No, this is marked green. You don't have to go by color of the graph, right? You have to go by the color indicated here. Okay. All right. So this is the answer, March. So always remember, it has to be compared with the previous month. So do not answer February in that case. That is one basic mistake some people make. So you need to remember that it is always compared with respect to the previous month. Okay. All right. For which route was the average number of travelers the maximum during the given period? You have to tell for which route the average number of travelers was the maximum. Magenta, green, blue. Again, sometimes what happens is we start calculating things. Okay, I mean, you won't get, you generally get these kind of graphs in some of the other MBA examinations. Maybe SNAP did not have a DI this time, but in other MBA examinations, you do get such graphs, and they ask such questions. Okay, so you have to tell the average number of travelers, the maximum. Now, maximum average, if you see that the total has to be the highest. So, can we answer this question by just mere observation? Can I answer this question by just observing which would have the highest number? Out of the 6 occasions, okay, out of the 6 occasions, there were 1, 2, 3 occasions when green line has the highest. Okay, that does not mean that it will have the highest average, but that would give some hint, because see, This has the highest on two occasions. Blue had the highest on only one occasion. Okay. Now, if you see the green, if you compare green with blue, so it has margin of 5, huge margin. Okay, this would offset. Obviously, this would offset this. Of these two gaps would be offset. This is green is high, right? Okay, suppose these two are offset. So again, green is higher than blue. Green is higher than blue. So sorry, green is higher than magenta. So green is definitely more than magenta. Okay. Now let us compare green with blue. I mean the green line of the graph, that is for blue line. Now green is higher here. It is higher here. Okay. So let us say these two values are offset. Okay, and let's say again these two values are offset. No, this won't be offset because this is just 5 and this is much more than that. Okay, anyway, even if you take offset, this is greater again. So green is definitely greater than blue line also. Okay, that is the, I mean this is green line. Okay, this is obviously the highest. So you do not have to add all the values, right? By just mere observation you can say that the answer will be green. Okay, so sometimes you do not have to. The thing is, like people would calculate these things. Most people would calculate these things, right? When they calculate, I mean that the smart people get ahead of them. So this is where people, I mean, lose time or versus gain time in DILR section. Okay, this is very basic reasoning. Although in DILR you are asked much more logical questions, but we need to build logic at the grassroots level, right? So try to understand things that do not calculate everything, right? At times you might have to use logic to answer things, right? So if some person is there who wants to tell that what is the highest average, okay, so that person would write all the values and add that, right? That would definitely take more time than just observing the graph and answering the question. So the answer is green only, right? So green, that is the this red colored graph, the red colored line, that is more than the other two. Okay. All right. The total number of travelers on blue route in March and April is what percentage of the total number of travelers on magenta route in January and February? So this is a very simple question. You have the values there. Read the values and calculate the answer. So this one is easy. Blue route on in March and April. So blue is the actually the green one, right? March and April. So this is 60 plus 60, 120, right? 120 is what percent of total number of travelers on magenta route. Magenta is the blue one. Okay. So January and February. So 50 plus 40, that is 90, isn't it? So 120 by 90 is 4 by 3. 4 by 3 as a percentage is 133.33%. So option A is the correct answer. Okay, very easy one. That was probably the easiest question. Okay. What is the difference between the average number of travelers on magenta route in January, February, and March, and the average number of travelers on green route in April, May, and June? Again, a basic calculation based one question. Calculation based are easy ones. So average number of travelers on magenta or Jan, Feb, March. Okay. Jan, Feb, March, magenta is the blue line. So 50, 40, and this is 55. Okay. So that is 145 by 3. Okay. And average number of travelers on green route in uh, April, May, June. April, May, June of this line, right? This is 55, this is 50, and this is 55. So this is 160 by 3 average, right? So you have to find the difference. The average will be 15 by 3, that is 5. Now, okay, they have not mentioned here, but that should be in lakhs, okay? Because they have given the option is in lakhs. So that should be in lakhs. Okay, that is the data is missing in this. It should be in lakhs. Okay, correct. So 160 by 3 and it is 145 by 3. So it will be 5 lakhs. Okay. What was the approximate decline in the number of travelers on Blue's route in June as compared to those in April? So that's a straightforward question. I mean, that does not require much time. You have to tell the decline in the number of uh, travelers on Blue route in June as compared to those in April. So Blue route is this one, April to June. So June you have just 40, in April you had 60. So there's a 33% decline, right? Right. So a decline, I mean, you always compare with respect to the, like if you are asked the decline or rise, that you have to compare the change upon the initial value, right? So always remember whenever you are asked such question, some people get confused that whether it could be 50% or 33%. So always remember whatever comes after as compared to dash, like it comes after less or more than or as compared to. So whatever comes here that you take as a denominator. Okay, so that you will take 20 by 60, that is 33%. All right. Okay. Okay, so we will have snap analysis on January 9th. So today is already done. So we will have snap analysis on 9th of January for the third shift and for IFT on 24th of January. These are the upcoming exam analysis. Okay. So to tell you about Grade Up Super, we have courses for all the MBA examinations, CAT, IFT, XAT, SNAP, TISNET, Maharashtra CT, CMAT, NMAT, MAT, whatever MBA exams you can think of, we have courses for all these. So you do not need to purchase courses for separate examinations. You can just take Grade Up Super subscription and you get access to all these courses. Okay, and these are our different subscription plans through which you get access to these courses. And these are the courses that we are currently running. For CAT 2021, if you have started your preparation, we have course for like CAT 2021, including other MBA exams also. We are bringing a crash course for CMAT and Maharashtra CET. This will be in Hindi. Okay, Hindi mein hai course. Okay, so that I mean the content will be in English. The mode of teaching will be in Hindi. So it will be so that people, the ones who are from Hindi speaking belt, can avail this course. Okay, because most of the people are from Maharashtra, UP, and all those, so we'll have this in Hindi. Okay, and we also have special course for GD, VAT, and PI. So those who have cleared CAT want to prepare for GD, VAT, PI. Okay, and so you can enroll in this course. So CET, yes, we will have. So SNAP analysis we did in the afternoon. We did analysis. In that we discussed all those questions which were memory based, which we recalled. Right. So some close to 35-40 questions were discussed. Right. So it is humanly not possible. So only one of the members. So Vijay was writing the examination. So it is not possible to solve the questions and recall all the questions. So whatever we could recall, we discussed in that session. Okay, so on 9th also we will try to recall, I mean, as many as possible, right? So we cannot guarantee that we will recall all 60 questions, right? So even if we get like 40, 45, I mean, that's just to give you an idea that what all were the answers to the questions. Yes, we do take sessions live every day. So Vikrant, you can subscribe to our channel. You can view sessions on our platform every day, and we have a Grade Up app as well. You can download the app from the Play Store. There also we have live sessions every day. Okay. CET series will start soon. We are launching a course also for Maharashtra CET and CMAT. We'll have sessions on Maharashtra CET especially. Snap paper on December. It was tricky, yes, as compared to the previous paper. It was slightly lengthier and tougher. Can't say about the December cannot say about 9 January paper. But generally, if you see the trend, right? If you see the trend, what happens is difficulty level keeps increasing, right? So, I mean, we saw in CAT, the first slot was, I mean, if you talk about CAT also, first slot was less difficult, then second was more difficult, third was, I mean, if you talk about the DILR section, it was extremely difficult, right? Similarly, the other sections change. So we cannot comment of any such thing. So be prepared for anything. It could be easy, it could be difficult. Even if it is easy or difficult, right? So these are not like your board exams, right? See, the disadvantage in people get in that board exams is some board exams are, I mean, the marking and all those. These are percentile based exams. So no matter it is difficult or easy, it is going to be difficult or easy for all the janta, right? So, and they are going to pick best of your percentile. So if it is difficult, your score, you will get percentile accordingly, right? CAT 2021 course. So Vikrant, you can visit our Grade Up site, and you have this counselor's number 969500. Okay, 52904. So you can call on this number and get details about the course pricing, etc. Okay, you will get details about this. Okay. All right. So this is it we had discussed in today's session. Okay. So these are our mentors at Grade Up. I'm sure you must have met if you are on our channel for long. You must be knowing all of these mentors. You must have seen their sessions. Okay, these are the mentors who consistently score high in CAT, right? So this year also, I mean, all of us scored above 99 percentile, most of us, and they have in the past also they have achieved 100 percentiles, 99.9, 99.8. So extremely high scores in their respective sections. So you can say that, I mean, this is a very good, a very strong team of mentors. You can get it one single platform. So Kalash, we are starting for CMAT also. So CMAT Maharashtra CT will be starting soon. Right, we are launching a course, I think on 9th or 10th, we are launching a new course for CMAT and Maharashtra City. That is going to be a crash course. And apart from that, we will have sessions on YouTube also and Grade Up app also. So please be subscribed to our YouTube channel and watch our sessions on our app also. There will be some free sessions also. And we are launching a full-fledged course also. I mean, that's sort of a crash course for these examinations. Okay. So Rishi, definitely SCM HRD is better than SIBM Bangalore. That's a better institute. Okay. All right. So all the best for the upcoming examination. I think some of you must be writing SNAP on 9th of Jan, right? So on 9th of Jan, we'll have uh, this SNAP analysis and question discussion, whatever we recall. Okay, and IFT on 24th. So IFT probably will have a separate session for discussion because more people are writing the examination on that day. All right. Okay, so thanks for attending this session. So all the best for these upcoming examinations. And if you have started your CAT 2021 preparation, I would give you certain advice that be consistent in your preparation. Right at this stage, so we are starting with some basic sessions on your DILR. Okay, so gradually we can will increase the difficulty level. Okay, and you need to be consistent. Okay, if you are consistent, then it is going to help you, right? So don't lose momentum, right? Just I mean, keep on building from here. Start with basics and gradually move on to difficult topics. Okay. All right, so that's it for this session. Thank you and have a great day. Good night.